What is up, YouTube? It is Greenphlem here, and today I have yet again another interview. And this time it is with ChickenBones, the creator of ChickenChunks, NEI, as well as Wireless Redstone. So if you'd like to do a little intro, just sort of introduce yourself, I guess.
Hey everyone, you probably know me by my mods. It's about all there is to me. I'm not a very exciting person.
Well, I'm pretty sure people have need to thank you for some of your mods anyway. So first question, I guess, would be the what got you into the modding community, whether it be Minecraft or just any modding community that you've been in.
Well, I always had a fascination with tweaking various games and things I could come across. I somehow found out about them just being on the internet, so I'd fiddled with some things like the Pokemon GBA games and Halo Custom Edition, making some maps and scripting for that. So I had a little bit of experience with modding, but nothing in the level that I found in Minecraft. And after I found Minecraft and found out about the modding that you could do, there was, various things that I looked at the game and thought, it would be really cool if you could have this or that. And so I set about with starting with small things and just looking at how I could try and improve the game, in my opinion.
All right, yeah, it's a perfect way of figuring it out is just tweaking it and learning on your own. Um, yeah. So, what was it specifically about Minecraft that got you into it? Was it the openness, or was it just the general community around it?
Well, one of the main things that pulled me into Minecraft was Redstone. I was a big fan of vanilla Redstone back when back before Red Tower came out. I was a big fan of that and started making arithmetic logic units and bits of memory and stuff with Redstone. I found that lots of fun. But yeah, that was what really got me hooked on Minecraft. And then after that, when I found out about the modding community, and there were already several mods, I started playing with some of the basic ones that were out around that time, like Buildcraft. And roundabout when Red Power came along was when I realized that there was real potential in modding community, and the thing that Red Power really opened up the engineering systems in Minecraft, which is what really fascinates me. I like building structures and contraptions and
Mm-hmm.
different things that work together. Made me realize that there was a lot of things that I'd like to be able to do in this game, this sandbox game, that you just couldn't do, but I could make it happen. So that's where I started.
Okay. Cool. So you mentioned Red Power and Buildcraft, so do you have any other modders that you looked up to in the beginning and still even now, I guess?
Well, now I don't really look up to any modders. I do some of them. There's LRM and King Lemming and a few others that have a lot more experience than I do because, they're much older than me and most of them have careers as software engineers or
Mm.
electrical engineers and things like that. So their coding styles are much better and they have better knowledge of systems and things like that. So I often like to, learn a lot from them by looking at how their various mods are implemented and how they design systems. So I look up to them in that way. And there's quite a few mods that I think are, really well done, which I try to aspire to be like in the way they function and how they look and how it's, also clean.
Okay. Um, is there any advice or tips that you would give out to people starting out with coding, especially Minecraft, since there's the lack of documentation?
Yeah, the lack of documentation is something that I was used to dealing with from, just tampering with different things. But for someone starting out, I've got a few tips. The first thing you should do is learn Java. There's plenty of Java tutorials on the internet, and if you don't know how to write Java, read Java, then you're not going to be able to do much in Minecraft because it's all written in Java. You should get Eclipse. It's a great development environment. It's what I use. And when you're starting out in Minecraft, after you've learnt some Java, You should always make sure to read all the information that's there. I know there's not much, but especially setup instructions for things like MCP and Forge, set them up, follow the instructions, and when you want to start out with your first mod, find something, simple, some little thing that you might be able to add, even if it's already there in some big mod, something that would be, would teach you about the different things that you might want to use in a future bigger mod to get you into it. Something small, and then the best thing you can do for that, once you want to get started modding and learn how to make things, is find some open source mods that do the same kind of things as you want, preferably based on Forge, and look at how they did the things, be able to read the code, look around Minecraft, see how you'll be able to do things, and basically just read how other people did it and try and understand and replicate that for your own purpose. And last thing, when you're going to ask a question, make sure to use Google first. You can find just about anything on Google.
Mm-hmm.
And don't ask to ask. Don't ask things like, can I ask you a question? Because that just annoys people. Just make sure you know what you're asking, how to describe it, and there'll be a website posted in the description with some tips on how to ask questions that don't annoy people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just especially when it comes to IRC, I know that the uh the community there is actually pretty small, so you probably don't get that many uh dicks, I guess would be the word, but I'm pretty sure that there's some that slip by and that's pretty annoying.
Yeah, there's plenty of people that ask things that are already listed in a frequently asked questions list on the post of the main mod, or
Right.
yeah.
Um, so I mean I have asked a couple other people this, but so do you see this as being your full-time job in the future? Like not particularly in Minecraft modding, but maybe just software engineering in general, or do you just see this as maybe just a hobby?
Well, currently it's just a hobby, and I'm going to keep it as a hobby. I do like software engineering, and software engineering may end up being my full-time job, but it would only be if I made like a game or an add-on or something that went really big and would be enough to employ me. I wouldn't initially set out in a career as a software engineer with a big company. What I'd like to do for a full-time job is something in electrical engineering or physics, computer physics.
Electrical engineering makes a lot of sense, hence the redstone.
Yeah.
All right. So shifting a note here, pretty much into a little more serious. I mean, some of the stuff regarding your mods has had some sort of controversy behind it, I guess, regarding not enough items. Um, People have accused you in the beginning of copying. I wasn't really around at that. Or I've been around since then, but I wasn't really using the mod at that time. I wasn't really aware of it. But I do know that there was some sort of problem. But how did you deal with that, and how did it not sort of demotivate you to not make it anymore, just to like sort of quit this whole thing? Because I know if I'm making something that's taking a while and that you have to keep updating and then people are just like giving you hell, I would not want to even just update it at all.
Yes, well, around the time the Minecraft community was going through the stage where they were running out of new ideas. And I mean, I run out of new ideas very quickly because I'm not an ideas person. I'm the kind of person who sees something and then adds something else and thinks, this could be much better if you were to add in a whole bunch of these other components like wireless redstone. I saw the original mod and thought, this could do with like naming frequencies and colors and interdimensional support and a whole bunch of other things which I've since added to it, which even though it was based off the original wireless redstone, it's quite different now, but it's not a new idea. Like wireless redstone was nothing new. And the same thing with NEI, especially seeing as too many items was around at that time. It was too many items was what spawned NEI. There was too many items in the recipe book, and there were a couple of people who suggested me. A couple of my friends in IRC suggested I should make a mod that combines them. Give items recipes and a whole bunch of other features. Really expand on too many items because it was very lightweight and simplistic. And so the community at that time when they were just starting to see things that were popping up again, recurring things. LRM copped a lot of flack for things that were in Red Power that were similar to things in Better Than Wolves and other mods like that. People weren't used to having multiple things that did the same thing, and they just started to, lash out at people for copying when now I was perfectly within my rights to do what I did. It wasn't I wrote the code myself, and
Mm-hmm.
so I wasn't doing anything wrong, and the community grew past that. We now have a pretty good understanding. I mean, like on the Forgecraft server, we now have four things that are essentially a macerator from IC2, from
Yeah.
different mods,
Yeah.
running on different things. And yeah, that's all cool. We live with that now. But what did I do to not give up? Well, it was mainly the people who were using my mod and the people who liked my mod. The fact that, regardless of what other people said, that I was actually benefiting someone, making someone's Minecraft experience more enjoyable was the thing that kept me going. I can just ignore all the people who are complaining because I just logically set them out as, you know, they've just got some issues. Not to worry about random people on the internet, really. Random people on the internet can cause you a lot of grief if you take them too seriously.
Right. Okay. That's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, it's just to just, take it as it comes. Um, so yeah, you answered my question because I was going to ask what kind of gap were you filling with NEI, but yeah, you're right. It recipe book and TMI kind of mashed those together and made it one. And
Yeah,
sort of, I guess, replacement question for that. I was thinking about it while you were talking because you were mentioning uh it was at that time where the people were running out of ideas and stuff, and I was just thinking of now that there's this sort of cohesive group of people. I guess it would be like on the Forgecraft server, I guess would be the example that I would use because they um you guys all know each other. You guys are all mod makers. Do you see that as a good thing because it has a way of making all your mods sort of cohesive and work together? Do you see like the whole Forge movement to be um beneficial to this
yeah.
whole thing?
I think it's a very productive thing. Forge in itself, firstly, being able to have all the mods that do similar things work together and share things, and lots of mods have APIs now, and the Forgecraft server is really beneficial because as mod devs, we get to play test better versions of the mods. So we have a testing community of intelligent people who, know can even sometimes provide suggestions of how to fix whatever issue you might be having. So you have a bunch of experienced people and all the different mods, you're playing with them in an environment where you can see if there's a hole that, maybe this mod is too overpowered compared to this mod, or these two things don't interact correctly. And the two mod devs are just there and they can discuss it and make sure their mods work together, like different things like NEI plugins and different mods have APIs and stuff. It's really good to make sure everything plugs into everything else, so it creates a environment that seems very designed together. It's quite a good thing.
Do you can just playing devil's advocate, can you see the side of maybe people don't get the like because all of these mods sort of people install these mods in bulk, I guess would be the thing. Like they don't really notice the difference in mods, like it just becomes Forge sort of almost a thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there are some people, but I always find the distinction between mods is most of the time it's quite clear. You the different mods have different aesthetic styles, different power systems, and things that segregate them, but they all work together to provide a common function.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So there might be some people who, like, people who play Tekkit and stuff. I've heard some people be like, Tekkit is the best game ever, and
Yeah.
like, nothing against Technic or Tekkit or, mod pack makers in general. But yeah, that's sometimes how it comes across, but that doesn't really bother me.
Okay. I see. Yeah, went through my questions and perfect on time. Thank you for the the opportunity, I guess. And
Yeah, well,
do you have any plugs that you'd like to say or anything new coming up?
no, just if you appreciate my mods, feel free to drop me a message. It's really nice to hear people say that they like what I've made, or if you have suggestions for new features that should be implemented, I like to hear those too. It's good to hear from the community.
All right, cool. All right, thank you. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.